All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? I'm back Monday, November 27th here to break down this 6-game NHL slate. If you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton here on that channel. And before I get into the breakdown, it is the last chance. This promo code, Turkey20, gets you $20 off your first month to get access to all of our premium content, including my NHL content behind the paywall. This locks after Monday Night Football tonight kicks off. So still time to get in there now. Best price in the industry. You get in for $49 for the first month. Check all our stuff out. The best Discord in the community, best projections. It'll take you through the next month. You got NFL winding down here. You got NBA. You got NHL. You got everything. You got PGA. We got it all covered. So Turkey 20 is the last call to get in now. If you are not a member yet, $20 off your first month. For a little Cyber Monday deal here for everyone out there if you are not a member. But let's jump right into the slate here. Again, 6 games on tap tonight. In terms of team total, or in terms of game totals, we have 3 6.5 totals. Tampa Bay, Colorado is a 6.5 total. Boston, Columbus, 6.5 total. Florida, Ottawa is a 6.5 total. And then the other 3 games, Buffalo, New York, Buffalo Sabres, New York Rangers, Vegas Golden Knights, Calgary Flames, and then the late night hammer, which is definitely going to be a pretty chalky spot. It's the Washington Caps and the San Jose Sharks. All 3 of those are a 6 total overall. So overall, pretty solid slate here tonight. Let's break it down. Let's talk through some of my favorite plays here. First stack that I'm going to bring up that I have a ton of interest here is actually going to be the Rangers. Really like the Rangers here tonight at home against Buffalo. Rangers have the highest implied team total on the slate behind Boston Bruins. Obviously, Boston facing Columbus. I expect the Rangers get some ownership here, but I think ownership spreads out enough. Obviously, we have the Capitals facing the Sharks later. We got the Lightning and Avalanche, which people are going to want to go to that game, myself included. We got Boston against Columbus. So overall, I do think ownership spreads out on the slate, but I really like the Rangers here. Artemi Panarin's playing great hockey right now. Obviously, just smashed against Boston there. 2 assists and a goal, 4 shots on net. He's 8,100, so his price is climbing a little bit, but his line mates, Vincent Trocheck, Alexis Lafreniere, are cheap stack options alongside of him playing good hockey right now. Lafreniere, Panarin, really like that 2-man stack there. But even jumping to this top line, Mika Zibanejad at sub 7K is super cheap for him. And Chris Kreider, I mean, is on an absolute tear the last 2 games. He's averaging almost 3 shots a net per game. He's just 6,500. And then Blake Wheeler, you get a third line mate there on that top line at super cheap. I'll touch on him once we talk to value wing. So really like these Rangers here tonight. Rangers, one of my favorite stacks of the entire night. Really think they are in a great matchup here tonight, facing Buffalo here on home ice. In this spot here. Next spot to target here is going to be these Boston Bruins on the road here against Columbus. Columbus super leaky here, but I could see this game playing a little bit under the total. I mean, last game that these 2 teams played last season, it was 2-1, 4-2, 4-0. So went even or under the total in all 3 of the games. But one guy to bring up, David Pastrnak, I think is one of the best elite one-offs on the entire slate. Has incredible history against Columbus. He's averaging over 5 shots and goal per game over the last 5. Top line, top power play. I mean, he's playing 20 to 21 minutes here. He's an elite one-off if you don't want to stack up these guys, Boston here. And he's also a pivot off of some of those high-priced, right? Not Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen. You got Nikita Kucherov. So other wings and centers that people are spending on in the slate. I think Pastrnak is a pretty good play as a one-off off of those guys. If I'm going to Boston, it's actually going to be the second line with Charlie Coyle, James Van Riemsdyk, and Frederick here. I really like the price point on Charlie Coyle. He's playing incredible hockey right now. One of the best value plays in the slate at 4,600 in this matchup. Think he's good. Jake DeBrusk is another good value play. Third liner here against Columbus should get some pretty solid run. James Rhymes like 4,900. He's playing good hockey right now, like that. So Boston line 2 is actually my preference for Boston here. Really like those guys. And then as a third liner, Jake DeBrusk, you could throw in there. David Pastrnak, one of the best wing plays, obviously, on the entire slate. No surprise there. He has an incredible history against Columbus, and he's just super, super active right now when he's on the ice, just firing the puck a ton. So I really like those guys. Let's talk about the team that's the late night hammer here. It's the Washington Capitals against this very, very leaky San Jose Sharks team. Obviously, we know the drill with these Sharks. The best or the worst home defense in the entire NHL. They allow the most shots on net, the most high danger chances. They have a terrible penalty kill at just 73%. I mean, the list goes on and on. Caps have been okay this year. Alexander Ovechkin here, the grade 8, obviously Ovi. 7,500 is a pretty good price point for him. He's got great history against the Sharks. Last time he played the Sharks back in October, he had 7 shots on goal. Didn't score a goal, but it picked up 2 assists, played 22 minutes. And then last season, he had 4 shots on goal and scored 2 goals. So has great history here. He's just 7,500. Think he goes a little bit overlooked here. Overall, just because I think people are spending up in that range. They're going to go to the Tampa guys. They're going to go to Colorado. They're going to go to some of those Boston guys, even some of those Rangers guys. So do like Alexander Ovechkin here. John Carlson, 6,300. Don't love the price point for him, but it is going to match up. Obviously, everyone checks out pretty good against these Sharks. Washington, probably one of the chalkiest teams in the slate. Tom Wilson, super, super cheap. I expect him to carry a lot of ownership, but hard to ignore. He's skating on that top line next to Ovi and Kuznetsov here. 4,800 for him. He's been pretty good, averaging over 3 shots on net per game over his last 3 games. Back in October, he did have 8 shots on goal with a goal as well in that game. So pretty solid history there. Kuznetsov is back now. He's just 4,200. Scored a goal in their first game this year when Washington won 3-1 here. So overall, great plays. I stick to the top line. I really like Ovechkin, Tom Wilson, and Kuznetsov here. You could throw in John Carlson as a power play stack there if you want. So it's basically Washington line 1 for me, which they're going to be chalky, but there's many ways to get different here on this slate, I think. So you could definitely differentiate some of that ownership a little bit here. Next team I have interest here is actually going to be Florida on the road here, facing Ottawa. Ottawa at home here. Ottawa's been very leaky on home ice here. Don't have the greatest penalty kill either. So if I'm going to Florida here, I'm going to stick to some of these power play guys. Matthew Tkachuk, another guy in that 7,700 range at the wing, where there's a lot of other guys, right? There's Ovechkin, there's the Rangers guys, there's the Tampa, Colorado guys. So Matthew Tkachuk here, he's averaging almost 5 shots in net per game over the last 5. I think he's a great play. Sam Reinhart's price is up there. Don't really love the price on Sam Reinhart too much. I'd rather just spend up to Chucky there. Alexander Barkov is back here. He's got incredible history against Ottawa. He's 7K flat, so like him. Brandon Montour, 5K flat for him, I think is a solid spot. He's got an incredible history against Ottawa as well. So really like Brandon Montour here in this spot. And then Sammy Bennett, 4,500 second line. Really like the Sam Bennett, Verhaeghe to Chuck line if I'm going to Florida here. That second line, really, if you can only get to 2-man stack or a 3-man stack, I like the Bennett to Chuck and Montour stack. 3-man power play correlation. They correlate together as full strength as well. So I really like that 3-man stack to Chuck, Montour, and Sammy Bennett for Florida here tonight. And then the last team I'm going to bring up here is going to go to this Tampa and Colorado game. I expect this game to go back and forth here. I expect there to be goals in this one. I lean towards the Tampa side in this one. I like Tampa a little bit more on the road here. Colorado's been super leaky on home ice, expected goals, actual goals. They allow the second most high danger chances as well per game. Nikita Kucherov, I mean, hard to ignore what he's doing. I mean, he's just coming off of a hat trick against Carolina 3 nights ago. 9,200 is expensive for him. I think I prefer David Pastrnak if I'm spending up that high, but hard to ignore what Kucherov is doing right now and his upside. Braden Point playing out of his mind right now, 7,300. That's a great value for him. So Braden Point, definitely like him. Steven Stamkos is my favorite wing on this slate, or not on the slate, on this team. 6,900, sub 7K, 22, 24, 16, 18. You're getting almost a $3,000 discount off of Kucherov for Stammer. He's still in that top line, top power play, excuse me. So like him, Victor Hedman is down to 5,600. We were paying in the 6Ks for this guy earlier this year, 7Ks last year. So Victor Hedman at 5,600, good price on him. Nicholas Paul, still on that top power play, is a good value play for a wing at 4K flat. So don't hate that. And then Brandon Hagel is also playing out of his mind, obviously, because that top line is just absolutely on fire right now. Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Brandon Hagel, you could definitely go back to them. That top line is clicking on all cylinders right now. Brandon Hagel's averaging over 16 DraftKings points per game over the last 5. And in the last 3, he's averaging over 17 DraftKings points. 24, 17, 24 is his last 3. So Tampa is going to round out my favorite stacks on this slate. Jumping into some value plays at each position. I'll give you 4 at each position, starting with the value centers, sub 4K guys. First guy is going to be Nick Bonino. I already talked about liking these Rangers. Nick Bonino, third line center here versus Buffalo on home ice. 2,800 for him. He's playing great hockey right now. He's going to see 12 to 14 minutes here, has decent history against Buffalo as well, and just doesn't need to do much. I like the matchup. I like the team. I like the spot for these Rangers. So I could take a chance on Nick Bonino at $300 over min price like that. Going back to Florida here, another guy that I have interest in, Anton Lundell, skating next to Cousins and in Eetu Luosterainen. He's averaging over 2.5 shots on net per game over the last 5. 3,700 for Anton Lundell, I think, is a nice price point for him. It's a good game environment, good matchup. I like Florida to win the game. So Anton Lundell, a good value center. Going back to Calgary, didn't talk about Vegas and Calgary too much here. But one guy I do want to bring up is Mikael Backlund, 4K flat at the center position, second line, second power play. He's playing great hockey over the last week, 11, 6, 11, 10, 12 DraftKings points. He's playing close to 20 minutes as well per game. So 4K for him. He's got great history against Vegas as well. I like the price point on him if you need a value center at 4K. And then the last guy is going to actually go back to Tampa here. It's going to be Anthony Cirelli, second line, state next to Samko, so you can pair them together. He's got great history against Colorado. He's scored a goal last game against Colorado last season. He's going to play 15 to 17 minutes likely as well, and he's just 3,300. So another pretty solid value option here on this slate. Jumping into some value wings. First guy for me is going to be Jake DeBrusk. Talked about him a lot. It's a great matchup here against Columbus. He's sub 4K, going to see power play time as well. Jake DeBrusk, 3,900 for Boston. Excellent value play there at the wing position. Going back to 2 other Calgary guys. Calgary has a lot of cheap guys. It's going to be Andrew Mangiapane and Blake Coleman. I think both of these guys are good at sub 4K options here. Don't like the game environment too much, but Vegas has been much more leaky on the road than they have been on home ice. So if I'm taking a kind of contrarian low-owned stack here, it's going to be these Calgary Flames on home ice. It's going to be Blake Coleman, Backlund, Huberdeau, Andrew Mangiapane, those guys, especially the cheaper guys. So like both of those. And then the last value wing I'm going to talk about is going to be Blake Wheeler, skate next to Zibanejad and Chris Kreider. This guy's averaging over 10 DraftKings points over his last 5 games, getting power play time, and he's just 3,600. So Blake Wheeler, my favorite wing or value wing on the entire slate. Really like that. Really like the Rangers here tonight. Jumping into some value D-men on this slate. Eric Gustav is 4,400, so a little bit over the 4K threshold, but have to mention him just because he's on that top power play for the Rangers. I like the Rangers a lot, especially that power play unit. So Eric Gustafsson. But another guy, another Eric, is Eric Gudbranson here for Columbus. This guy's mainly a shot blocker here. He's 4K flat, so don't love the price point a ton when you're mainly relying on shot blocks, but he's averaged over 3 shot blocks per game over the last 5 games. That's going to hit you that bonus on DraftKings, which is definitely good. 18, 11, 11 is his last 3 games. So Eric Gudbranson here for Columbus Blue Jackets. Solid value D-men. Going back to Washington, the late night hammer here. I've been a huge believer in Rasmus Sandin. He's been great. Now gets a great matchup here against the Sharks. He's 3,900, getting power play time as well. So Rasmus Sandin, he's playing over 25 minutes as well, which is a ton of ice time, especially against the San Jose Sharks team, who's very leaky. So Rasmus Sandin is a great value wing or a value D-man on the slate. Going back to the Rangers, talked about liking the Rangers quite a bit here. One guy I do like from a value D-man perspective is Keandre Miller, top line guy, second power play unit. This guy's playing over 23 minutes as well. 3,200 in a solid matchup, solid game environment. Really like the Rangers against Buffalo here. Rangers been excellent all season long, 15-4 on the year. Keandre Miller at 3,200, excellent value demon on this slate. And then the last guy I really like, Gustav Forsling here. This kid over his last 2 games against Ottawa has 3 goals over his last 2 games. He's 3,800. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gustav Forsling score a goal here tonight from a D-man at 3,800. Talked about like a Brandon Montour a lot, but I also think you can go to Gustav Forsling here. Not going to see power play time, but he is going to play over 20 minutes. So Gustav Forsling's going to round out my value demons on the slate. Talking from a goalie perspective here, my favorite goalie on the entire slate is actually going to be probably the chalk of the slate, but it's hard to ignore. Adin Hill, talked about like in Calgary a little bit as GPP leverage just at their ownership, and they are on home ice with Andrew Mangiapane, Blake Coleman, Mikhail Backlund. They got some cheap pieces there, but Adin Hill has owned this team in the past. He's playing great hockey right now, and he's just 7,600. So that price is too cheap for his upside. Another guy, Jeremy Swayman here. I don't see any way Boston loses this game against Columbus. 8,200. If I'm spending up, I'm going to go to Jeremy Swayman. He's my favorite spend-up goalie on this slate. Darcy Kemper here. Again, Washington, heaviest favorite on the slate. One of the heaviest favorites on the slate at minus 220 on the road. Darcy Kemper has been pretty solid. Has a pretty good history as well against San Jose. He's won the last 3 matches against them, or last 3 games, not matches, excuse me. 8,300, Darcy Kemper. And then the last guy I'm actually going to bring up is Bobrovsky here for Florida. I like Florida to win the game outright in this spot here. Like Florida from a DFS perspective. So naturally, I'm going to have interest in Sergei Bobrovsky here at 7,900 to round out this show. Talk slit stacks, talk some value plays, talk my favorite goalies. As always, my final content will be up on ShipItNation.com for premium subscribers only. If you are not a subscriber yet, head over to ShipItNation.com, hit join now, use promo code Turkey20, get you 20% off that first month for $49. That's a little bit over $1 a day to get you access to all of our premium content behind the paywall for the first month there. Turkey20 will get you access to all of our content, including my NHL final thoughts, final cores, final slate plan, everything like that. But that's going to do it for this Monday edition of the NHL Quick Hit for the 6-game slate, November 27th here. For myself, Nadesify, good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those Ship It Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.